Hey everybody, it's Biggie. Welcome to Biggie's Auto. Apologize for the lighting. I'm going to do my best to make sure this video you can see what I'm doing. It's approximately 6:45 at night here. You can see its temperature starting to drop. You can see by my breath. We have supposedly a big snowstorm coming tomorrow. But that doesn't change the fact that my wife's car is messed up. The center bearings for the drive shaft are stretched out more than my ex-wife at a frat party, so we got to get that shit changed out. We're going to do that by we're going to swap out the drive shaft. We're not going to change the center bearings due to how labor intensive it is, and it's just a chance to screw up, and I just don't have the resources to do that. So I opted to swap out the drive shaft in lieu of, you have not only a new center bearing, but they have new U-joints and a brand new drive shaft, a whole new unit going in there. So I'm going to dive underneath the car here. I'm going to show you where I'm at, and hopefully we'll get this thing swapped out and have everything squared away on this all-wheel drive 2007 Ford Edge before the snow hits. We'll see you in a little bit. Okay guys, I'm over here. So I don't know, hopefully you can see these bolts. Here is your front flange that goes to your transaxle. So I went ahead and I already broke these loose. They're 13 millimeters, so there's 4 of them. So you're going to unbolt it here, okay? And you're also going to do the same. Let me see if I can find myself in the camera. I'm here at the bottom. Hang on. You're going to do the same at the back, where the rear is, if lack of a better term, the rear, I'm going to say pumpkin because I'm old school. There's 4 bolts there as well. They're 13 millimeter. I recommend once you have the vehicle up on jack stands, put it in park. You can crack loose. I cracked 2 loose on the rear, 3 loose on the front. So then I put the car in neutral, I spun the drive shaft to where the other bolts were, and I put it back in park, locked everything in so I could break the bolts loose. It just makes it easier when you can twist that drive shaft. I had a hard time getting in there using any kind of power tools because the angle, I did everything using a 3/8 ratchet, a universal joint, and a shallow 13 millimeter socket to get it loose so I could get in there. A little tricky, but it actually went easier than I thought. Pro tip, if you would, last night I jacked this vehicle up and I sprayed everything with penetrating oil, the bolts, everything. And I let the wife used the car today to go to work. So that gave it 24 hours for it to soak in there and kind of do its magic, if you will. So today, when I put it back up, I put a little bit more on. Excuse me. Excuse me. They were able to come loose with a 3/8 ratchet. So I'm pretty happy about that because I kept having a nightmare. I was going to bust one of these bolts off, and I'd be pretty much screwed at that point. Especially with the pending snowstorm, I really want to have this car safe for the wife to use. If you can, I'm going to show you the carnage here as to why we're doing this. I don't know if you can see the center. Look at, I don't know. I don't know if you can see how much that's moving. That's fucked. That's fucked. So that's why we're replacing it. We're replacing the whole drive shaft. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to loosen the front and rear, and then I'm going to drop the ends down, and then I'm going to loosen up the center bearings. When I get that done, I'm going to come back, and we're going to see there's a difference in the new drive shaft, and I'm going to explain what the difference is and why, and a couple other things here and there to clear things up. But let me get this out.
hopefully I don't die by this thing falling on me. But I want to get this out, and then we're gonna see the difference, and then I'm gonna explain everything. Hopefully, get this thing back together and get it running, and get this all situated. So I'll see you when this is out.
Story time! Okay, here we go. Story time. Okay, so you see the drive shaft that we removed from our edge here. Thing's pretty fucked up. It's about as fucked up as a teenage girl at a frat party. But anyway, you got a 3-piece. We have the new shaft. 2-piece. Okay, don't panic, folks. We don't have the wrong drive shaft. I did a little research. Yes, Biggie actually used his fucking brain for something. So I'm going to hold it this way so you can stare at the beauty that is the Ford Edge drive shaft. But anyway, this one, what happened was is in 2007, 2008, and I think halfway between in the model year of 2009, Ford used the 3-piece drive shaft in all Ford Edges. Middle of 2009 up to I think it was 2014, they went to a 2-piece design. They're both 81 inches long. What you're going to use is that center bearing on there, the front one. They both measure 30.5 inches from the front yoke. Okay, so it will bolt in. I checked a couple Ford Edge chat boards, and apparently it's a thing to put this 2-piece in, because obviously you have less parts to wear out. You have a longer piece here. Just what I can see from looking at it. So this should, according to them, bolt right in. This was spec'd out for a 2007 Ford Edge all-wheel drive. I measured it with my tape measure. The tape measure matches with 81 inches overall length, with your center bearing bolting up at 30.5 inches where the factory mount is in the floorboard. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to try and wrestle this thing up into place. And before I set it, I'll bring the camera in with me. We'll check it all out. But yeah, let's see how this goes. Okay, I guess I'm recording. Sorry, guys, I can't see. Sorry about that. But there it is installed. The 4 bolts. The one center bearing here. Now, the one thing I forgot to say is there's a tab here you're going to have to bend out. It comes on a 90-degree bend. You're going to have to flatten that to get that to work. But it bolts right in, as you can see. You have your flange bolts, the 4 of them tight up there. I'm going to see, I can't really, got those 4 bolts tight back there. So what I'm doing is I'm going to drop the car down and we're going to take this thing for a road test. All right, guys, so it's Big E. I'm trying to hold the camera here. I'm not doing so well, a little shaky, but just wanted to tell you, got back from the road test. One thing I'm noticing, there was a vibration up to about 40 mile an hour. I'm trying to research, I'm looking into it. I know there's 1 or 2 wheel bearings that might be south on this vehicle. So I don't know if now that the drive shaft is now tight and good, if not, it's going to show all the other weak links of this vehicle. But once you get above 40, I took it up to about 75, 80 mile an hour. It was smooth as silk. So I'm thinking the drive shaft's good. It would be, it would get more and more pronounced. And it seemed like it went away smooth as silk. So I'm kind of leaning towards wheel bearings. That's what the issue is on that. But that drive shaft's tight. Like I said, I looked at the old one again. I mean, it scares the living shit out of me that we were driving. My wife was driving it. My kids were riding in it, and it was that bad. I knew it was bad. I didn't realize just how bad. But it's okay now. Everything's tight. Everything's new. Everything's good. The car works wonderful. I would say it probably took me, maybe an hour, if that. I mean, once you get the car up in the air, that's the hard part. But it was like maybe an hour. It's not that bad. My whole thing was the fitment. It fit right in there. Tickled pink. Hopefully this keeps the wife happy for 5 minutes. But anyway, So that's how you replace the drive shaft on a Ford Edge, up to 2014, I'm going to say. So I hope that helps. Again, I'm going to go over to tools. You're going to need a 13 millimeter shallow on a swivel for the mounting bolts where it bolts the transaxle in the rear, and 15 millimeter for your center bearing the nuts where the bushings are. You're going to need that. The only problem was the one on the more rearward center bearing. You have to go on with a swivel and a shallow 15, and I used a 6-inch extension. The muffler's right there. You kind of got to move that muffler out of the way to get in there to get that nut off, but you're not reusing that with the new drive shaft. You're not using that second center bearing. So you only have to worry about taking it apart. You don't have to worry about putting it back together. Anyway, pretty straightforward deal. I'm happy. The car should be more reliable now and better. So that's it for the drive shaft install on the 2007 Ford Edge. Anyway, watch out for each other. Take care of each other. See you next time right here on Big E's. And don't forget, like and subscribe. I forgot that part. Duh. Anyway, take care, guys. We'll see you around. Till next time. Bye.